Good morning and welcome to my reflection video number 3. I actually found a quiet workspace at work and hope this lasts for a little while. I'm in our workroom and so hopefully I can get through this without phones ringing or an interruption of any kind. So this is reflection number 3, and this really the questions on this one talked about relationships that I guess I've had with STEM coursework through schooling. I'm assuming most of it's talking about K-12. Um, I think the call for STEM integration in school isn't a better attempt to secure the future for American education. I think this has led to the development of some national standards that we're feeling an impact even in Texas, and obviously the progression of those standards over the year. And that's kind of like in the Timeline Project, you can see the progression of those things over several years. I think the design and implementation of curriculum has surely evolved, even from when I was in the classroom to what I can see now happening in the classroom, even just what was happening when I was teaching in the classroom. Today, I think we commonly use the ideas of discovery as a form of problem solving, cooperative learning, and then, of course, subject integration across curriculum. All in an attempt, I hope, to get students to work together to not only design solutions for real-world problems, but actually connect some of those dots of the foundation learning. So when I was reading these questions, I thought back to my experiences in public school, and I was somewhat lucky to attend a variety of schools. My dad was a minister, so wherever God called is where we were at. And I guess I was lucky in an extent that I can compare. I went to school up north until middle school, and then we moved to Texas when at the end of my 8th grade year. So I have some variety of things. I guess I could compare. So one of the things that has always stuck with me with STEM integration is the ability to apply foundational skills to real life situations. It's really hard. I have a freshman. It's really hard for me to explain to her some days why she has to learn Algebra 1 and how that's going to be applicable to her in the future. So those are some basic knowledge skills that she's learned, some foundational math skills that she'll use through high school. Hopefully at some point she's going to connect the dots, or her teacher's going to help her do that. But taking those basic knowledge skills and applying them to real life situations. And that's the kind of learning that kind of sticks with everybody, I think. And whether I'm elementary or college level, that applicable learning has kind of stuck with me over the years. So I don't remember anybody in my career going, okay, today is the day we're going to do some STEM integration coursework as part of your learning, nor have I ever said that as a teacher. Hopefully that's just kind of part of what we do as educators. So as an elementary and junior high student, I was going to school up north in western New York, mostly Amish country. I think I came from a generation of mostly sit and get information, memorize, regurgitate, and short-term memory tasks. I can reflect upon that now, saying, man, I can memorize things super quick, regurgitate them, and but did true learning really happen during that time? I'm not sure it did. The only thing I really remember at that age is kind of writing a lot. Journaling must have been a big deal during that time, because I can remember teachers giving me those composition books, and we wrote and we wrote and we wrote about anything and everything in any class, any subject area, fiction, nonfiction. It could be anything related to spelling words for the day, or a science lab that we may have created. So I know that journaling is not probably just STEM related, except the only thing I can connect that to is there was some cross-curricular stuff going on. That journal went with us to every class, every subject area, and stuff like that. So at the end of my 8th grade year, we moved to Texas to a very small, to a school district, very small. So I started high school in a very different culture, obviously some different standards, although I never felt behind. At that point, I can reflect upon knowing that my classes were very, they were put in silos. So I learned math in math class, science in science class, history in history class, and so on and so forth. I don't remember a lot of integration or cross-curricular stuff going on. I remember in my ELA class, which I had kind of flourished in before, we memorized a lot of poems and writings and stuff like that. So that was my first foray into public speaking, I think. Um, I think I wondered at some point where all the writing went, and probably looking now at the writing scores across the state, I still wonder where writing went. So I'm not sure I have a lot to relate to in my own education about my relationship in STEM and coursework in my K-12. I do remember getting to college and thinking, what the heck, group work, collaborative project, and synthesize our learning. Probably a deficiency came from my K-12 foundation, and I realized then it was really hard for me to change my approach to learning, and the whole idea of sharing work through collaboration was foreign to me. Today, I realize we shortchange our kids if we don't give them those opportunities, if we don't train them and encourage them to share information. I always agree there's a need for basic skills, but the most valuable knowledge comes from teaching students how to apply those basic skills and learn to look for those answers. Crazy, I know. Today, I couldn't survive my job without technology and the collaborative workspace it provides. I manage 6 campuses and a staff of digital learning specialists. It's hard to be in the same place at one time, and I can't tell you. There's a couple of my ladies I haven't seen in a couple weeks, but I do communicate. We either communicate through a Google Doc or a discussion board, the internal discussion board, daily. But we share our knowledge, and that's part of where we're headed. And we each can learn from each other. Whether I have an elementary teacher who's done something on one campus, I am my high school digital learning specialist can probably learn from that and apply it on her campus. And it helps us to help our teachers and students. So it's not really about me being a math teacher or how to apply those math concepts, but we've learned to collaborate with our teachers within our school district. We collaborate across the state with other administrators and local people. Today, I'm probably greatly influenced by the entire digital learning team from Apple and their pedagogy to implement shared resources through open coursework like iTunes U. Carl Hooker from Eanes ISD, who manages their digital learning program, who led the charge in creating district textbooks and coursework that met their needs, and they didn't stick to buying the traditional textbooks just because that's what we've always, as school districts, done in the past. They've made decisions based on what's best for their students. And then, of course, people like Lenny Shedd, who is the CTO of Houston ISD, who led the state in implementing a bring your own device policy that laid the groundwork for 24/7 learning, shared resources, and STEM integration in his school district, which was Katy ISD at the time. So that last part, I kind of got off subject, but it's kind of important to me that although I can reflect back and see that I don't know that I had a lot of STEM integration in my coursework K-12. I can see how it probably impacted me in college. Hopefully, I've made a change and a turnaround in knowing how that's different now, even in my job, and what's important to us as a district. Thank you.